Good afternoon out there, and welcome to the 2026 webinar about how to apply to VIA University College's study programs. My name is Susanne, and this is Mette, and together we will provide you with the most important information about applying to VIA's international study programs. When we are done with the webinar, we are ready to answer the questions you may have, and during the session, you can write your questions in the chat, and they will be answered as we speak. Finally, we would like to tell you that the slides will be available to you afterwards.
Here you see a timeline for international applicants. It's important that you know the different deadlines set by the Ministry of Higher Education and Science in Denmark. On the 1st February, optagelse.dk will open for applications. We recommend that you apply well in advance of 15th March to avoid any queues. You must send a signature page for each application stating which program you're applying for by email to apply@via.dk no later than 15th March before 12 noon. The signature page is generated at optagelse.dk when you've made your application. In case you haven't got all your documentation ready at the time of application, you should send all the documentation you have. You'll be able to add attachments to your application at nimstudie.dk after the application deadline. You will receive a message through NemStudie about this. If you apply for the animation programs, you must attach your portfolio before 15th March at 12 noon. Any applications received after 15th March at 12 noon will not be accepted. The 5th July at 12 noon is the deadline for attaching final documentation if you graduate in the summer 2026. If you receive your final documentation after 5th July, you can expect a rejection as the clearing process of VIA's assist applications in the national admission system has begun. So until the 5th July, you can delete your applications or change your list of priorities. If you do so, please inform us by email at apply.via.dk. On the 28th of July, you'll know whether you are admitted to a study program at VIA. You'll receive the decision in NemStudie. On the 31st July, at the latest, you must accept or decline your offer of admission. If you're not offered a study place, you can visit our website www.via.dk, where from July 28th you can find a list of available study places.
All applications to VIA study programs are coordinated through the national admission website optagelse.dk. The application form is filled in at this application platform. We will go through the application form, not that we can see it, but we will explain which information you must fill in. You must fill in information about yourself, about your citizenship, and if you have been enrolled into a higher education before, you have to give information about that too, because it may be relevant concerning credit assessment. Also, you have to give information about entry qualifications in the application form. Where it says qualification type, you have to choose non-Danish exam. Where it says entry qualification, you have to choose IB or other non-Danish diploma and country. And you have to write the original title of your diploma. Year of completion, you have to write the completion year or the expected completion year. At optagelse.dk, you can choose the following English taught programs at VIA. The first one is the software technology engineering. Then there is the bachelor's degree in climate and supply engineering. There's the bachelor's degree in architectural technology and construction management. There's the bachelor's degree in animation, and there's the AP graduate in design, technology and business, and the top-up degree in design and business.
It's important that your documentation is attached to each of your applications. You should attach the following documentation to your application: your upper secondary diploma and transcript of records, a signed and stamped verification form including number of hours on the specific entry requirements, English, math, and so on, to the study program applied for. You should attach documentation for English proficiency, which is at least 210 study hours from upper secondary school or an accepted language test, and documentation of your citizenship, and documentation for work experience, courses, and a motivational video. You can find the criteria for the motivational video on the website for the study program you wish to apply for. Regarding signature pages, if you apply with a Danish CPR or MitID, your application is signed digitally. If you apply without a Danish CPR or MitID, you must conclude the application by printing the signature page, which is a receipt slip containing a 10-digit application ID number, and email it to us at apply@via.dk within the 15th March at 12 noon.
There are always a lot of questions about English qualifications from our applicants, so here is a hopefully useful explanation. Admission to VIA's programs taught in English requires a B level in English, which is at least 210 clock hours of English, which must have been obtained during the last 3 years of upper secondary school, or an accepted English test. We accept IELTS test, TOEFL test, or Cambridge test. In this connection, it's important to make it clear that if there is also a specific entry requirement of an English B level to the study program you apply for, then an English test is not adequate. The English B level must appear from your upper secondary diploma. To make sure that your number of hours of the specific required subjects can be counted, you need to fill in a verification form. It must be done by your previous school, and it must be both signed and stamped. On the slide, you can see what the verification form looks like. The best thing you can do for yourself is to have the verification form completed before you fill in your application at www.optagelse.dk and submit it with your application there.
All applicants from outside the EU must pay an application fee of 1,125 Danish kroner, which corresponds to 150 euros, to apply for VIA's study programs. We do not assess applications until the payment of the application fee is received. If you get a study place, the application fee will be deducted from your payment of tuition fee. If you do not get a study place or decline a study place, the application fee will not be refunded. If you are an applicant from outside the EU with no residence permit that allows you to study in Denmark for free, you must pay a tuition fee for each semester. The first tuition fee payment is for the 2 first semesters of your study, which is approximately 120,000 Danish kroner. If an applicant from outside the EU gets a study place at VIA, it's relevant to mention that due to new legislation, accompanying spouse is not allowed. No.
If you apply for the Design, Technology and Business study programs, and if you meet the entry requirements, you must also take part in an admission assignment to qualify for a study place. You will get further information about the assignment by email in week 12, just after the application deadline. But for your information, the admission assignment is available from the 24th of March to the 7th of April at 12 noon, which is the absolute deadline. You can read more about this at the program webpage. If you apply for the animation programs, which are character animation and computer graphic arts, you will receive either an invitation for the admission test and an interview, or a rejection letter by the end of April. There are individual online admission tests on the 2 dates, May 4th and May 5th. And there are admission interviews in Viborg between the 11th and 13th of May and the 19th and 21st of May. Study start is on August 24th. It is important to know that because of the large number of very qualified applicants and our limited study places, we must unfortunately reject qualified applicants.
For the architectural, technology and construction management, climate and supply engineering, and software technology programs, we apply selection criteria to find the most well-qualified students. This means that applicants who fulfill all entry requirements are furthermore assessed on their grades, work experience, and other experiences, and their motivational video. You can read further about this on each program website. Please note that the motivational video of approximately 3 minutes must be uploaded as a link to the video in a separate document.
As an applicant for VIA study programs, you can apply for a standby place. We find it important to inform you about what this means. The standby list is a waiting list where you can have an extra chance of getting a study place in case there are available study places after the 28th of July. If applicants decline an offer to a study place, there will be available study places to apply for. A standby place also means that if you are not offered a study place the year you apply, you will be offered a study place the following year. The standby place is valid for 1 year only. To get an extra chance of getting a study place, you must tick the standby box on your application at Optagelse.dk. There are both advantages and disadvantages in a standby place. If you are absolutely certain about admission to a specific study program, which means that you are not interested in any other program, it is an advantage to apply for a standby place. If the most important for you is to start studying, and you have more than one study program that you are interested in, it is a disadvantage to apply for a standby place, as a standby place blocks your application to programs with lower priorities.
NemStudie is the communication channel between VIA and the applicants. When you have applied, you will receive an email with a link to NemStudie.dk. You can log into NemStudie either by using the email address you used when applying or with MitID. Through NemStudie, you can get updated on the status of your application, and the admission office will ask for further documentation if needed through this channel. It's also the easiest way to get in contact with the admissions office with questions and comments regarding your applications. You can set the browser language to English.
Finally, we have made a list of useful sites and links where you can find further information. As the slides will be available to you, we will not go further into this. If you have any unanswered questions, you are welcome to write them in the chat now, and we will try to come up with an answer. In case you do not get an answer, please send us an email at apply@via.dk after the webinar.